Hi everyone, my name is Miss Mary, and in our new series, You've Got a Friend in Me, our lesson today is called The Encourager. We are continuing to talk about what kind of friends we should choose to have. As Christians, we have to be wise in choosing those who will be our closest friends. Those who we are closest to will determine a lot about what kind of person we become. Now, of course, we have to be friendly and kind to everyone, but we must be careful who we choose to spend time with and become close friends with. Today's lesson is found in the New Testament, in the book called Acts. We are talking about a guy in the Bible named Joseph, but the disciples nicknamed him Barnabas instead. The word Barnabas actually means son of encouragement. That's because he was a big encourager to those around him. Do you know what it means to be an encourager? It means to inspire with courage, spirit, or confidence. Encouragement is an amazing thing. It helps us make it through the hard times. Barnabas was the kind of guy who could always be counted on to give encouragement to those who needed it. He was an amazing friend. In Acts chapter 4, verse 36 and 37, we find Barnabas doing something pretty incredible. There were a lot of people who were in need. They had no food or clothing. Barnabas sold a field he owned and brought the money to the apostles for those in need. Isn't that amazing? His friends were in need, and Barnabas sold his property to give the money to the church so they could help those in need. If we want to be an encourager like Barnabas, there's a lesson we can learn from this story. When there is a crisis, a Barnabas steps up to help. Barnabas didn't wait to be asked. He saw there was a need, and he stepped up to help his friends. If you want to be a friend who is an encourager like Barnabas, then you need to step up to help when you have a friend in need. If your friend is struggling with their homework, step up, help them study. If your friend doesn't have any lunch money, step up and give them some of your lunch. If your friend is struggling to make other friends, step up, introduce them to those you know. Whatever the need, you can be a friend like Barnabas if you just step up to help. That's what an encourager does. That's also the kind of friend we need to look for, an encourager. In Acts chapter 9, verse 26, we find Saul arriving in Jerusalem just after he became a Christian. Now you have to remember that Saul was a killer of Christians before he gave his heart to God. It was hard for people to believe that he had really become a Christian. When Saul came before the Christians in Jerusalem, the people rejected him. They thought Saul was only pretending to be a Christian. Barnabas knew that Saul was telling the truth. He stood up and told the disciples about how Saul had seen Jesus on the road to Damascus and had given his life to God. Then, because Barnabas was willing to stand up for Saul, the disciples accepted him. In Acts chapter 13, verse 13, from this verse on, Saul is now known and is called Paul. He becomes an apostle and becomes one of the most powerful men in the New Testament. Imagine, if Barnabas had not decided to stand up for him, he may not have accomplished all that he did. If you want to be an encourager like Barnabas, you need to learn that. When others don't believe you, a Barnabas stands by you. We need to look for friends like Barnabas. We need people who will stand by us even when others don't believe in us. We need to choose friends who will be faithful friends, willing to stick by us even when others won't. In the same way, that's the kind of friend we need to be as well. We need to stand by our friends, believing in their character or who they are. That's what a true friend does. That's what an encourager does. There's one more thing we can learn from Barnabas in the New Testament. If we look in Acts chapter 11, verse 19, we find a group of Christians in a town called Antioch. Even though things were tough and hard on them, they continued to tell others about Jesus. As the result, many people became Christians. When the church in Jerusalem heard about what happened, they sent someone to encourage the Christians in Antioch. Can you guess who that was? If you said Barnabas, you are right. Who better than the encourager himself? Barnabas arrived in Antioch and began celebrating what God was doing. He celebrated the hard work the Christians had done. As a result of his encouragement and its celebration, even more people became Christians. How amazing is that? That's what we learn about encouragers. When there is a victory, a Barnabas celebrates. You might think, well, of course he celebrates when there is a victory. Sadly, not everyone celebrates with you when you have a victory. Have you ever had something really awesome happen to you, but there were others who were jealous or upset by it? Maybe you won an award, but there were others who were mad because they wanted the award. That's not being a Barnabas. A true friend is an encourager. We must choose friends who will encourage us when things are going great and when we do something great. At the same time, we need to be that kind of friend who will encourage others also and celebrate when things go well for them too. All these things that we have learned from Barnabas are not easy to do all the time, but with God's help, we can be a Barnabas type of friend. I pray that we will be able to build friendships to those who are like Barnabas, and we will become more like Barnabas as well. I pray that we will become encouragers, building people up and not tearing them down. Our power verse today is found in 1 Thessalonians 5:11. So encourage each other and build others up just as you are already doing. Our big idea this week is, a friend will encourage me every chance they get. So let's review our main focus. We must choose friends who will encourage us. We can be an encourager for our friends so that we can look at them and truly say, you've got a friend in me. There are some review questions for this lesson. All you have to do is click on the More tab and then select RV Kids Midweek, and the discussion questions will be right there. This is a great time to see if mom or dad have been paying attention and to see if they know the answers too. As always, have an amazing week, and remember, you've got a friend in me. See you next time.
You've got a friend in me. You've got a